So, with the continued alleged Rashee Rice drama still to be determined, the Chiefs signed an intriguing wide receiver yesterday that went a bit under the radar given everything that happened. And in this video, I share how he could potentially be a fit on the team, even though he certainly has an uphill battle to make the 53-man roster. So let's talk about this signing, who they waived to make room for him, and more, starting with the Chiefs' upcoming schedule release. But first, how about those? All right, first up, the full NFL schedule is slated to be released at 8 p.m. Eastern on May 15th, which is a full week later than expected, with the reasoning for the delay not being given. I mean, the NFL does what they want, when they want. They don't really need a reason. So for now, we will have to wait one more week to see the Chiefs and every other NFL team's exact schedules. We already know who the Chiefs are playing, with those teams being the Broncos, Bengals, Chargers, Texans, Raiders, Saints, Ravens, and Bucks at home. Then the Broncos, Panthers, Chargers, Browns, Raiders, Steelers, Falcons, 49ers, and Bills on the road. And now that we know most of the offseason moves from these teams, a few that I am interested or think will be exciting matchups is going to be Derek Carr and the Saints at Arrowhead, because that's always an easy W. Then another easy W is going to be against Russell Wilson and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Kirk Cousins and the Falcons should be an entertaining one in Atlanta, as well as Gardner Lil ass boy Minshew now on the Raiders. Then, of course, the Texans game should be an absolute banger as well. CJ Stroud looking for a great year too, and they are stacked over there in Houston. Burrow will return once again to play at Arrowhead, and the classy Bengals fans with 0 rings to their pathetic little names are always a nice, calm, and fun time. So, while we know who KC is playing, what we will find out is where and when next week. We do know that Germany is on the docket once again for the Chiefs, with that being announced last year that they were going to be playing games in Germany in 2023 and 2024. Then, of course, KC will open the season with a home game on September 5th, like starting out the entire NFL season like they did last year against the Lions. It's just a matter of who their opponent will be, either an AFC West team or the Texans, Saints, Ravens, Bengals, or Bucks. I think the Texans would be a fantastic opponent to open up the entire season, but either way, we will find out next week. And then in some upcoming events put on by Chiefs Players News, this isn't an ad, even though it's going to sound like it, but on May 18th, KC's biggest music festival, Kelce Jam, hosted by Travis Kelce, you guessed it, is back, with tickets being 95% sold out at the time of when I'm recording this video. It's going to feature performances from Lil Weezy, Diplo, 2 Chainz, a meet and greet with Trent McDuffie, and much more. So make sure to grab a ticket if you want to go before they get sold out. Then on June 6th, the Kansas City Monarchs are back with another charity softball game, with new hosts being Justin Reid and Trey Smith. Last year, it was hosted by MVS, but since he's now a free agent, no longer with the Chiefs, unless they bring him back, we'll see about that. But there are new hosts this year because of that. It was a great turnout last year, with Mahomes, among many others, showing up to support a good cause, and the links for both of these events, including more details on how you can buy tickets, are in the description down below. And since we just brought up Kelce Jam, it's worth noting that Travis Kelce reportedly has landed a role in horror creator Ryan Murphy's latest FX show, Grotesquerie, I think is how you pronounce it. It started production and is aiming to premiere in the fall. And I don't think Kelce's going to have like a main role being in every episode or anything like that, but he will have a guest appearance of some sort at least. Actress Niecy Nash posted to her Instagram, I think today, that she will be working with Kelce in the show, with Kelce exclaiming,
"Jumping into new territory with Niecy.
We outside!"
Well, he's certainly been busy this offseason, because if you remember, he's also reportedly hosting a spinoff to the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader show called Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? With the biggest question to me being, which is actually smarter, a fifth grader or a celebrity? Well, we're going to find out this year, and it's being put on by Amazon, including 20 episodes of the show hosted by Travis Kelce. Then, the Kelce news just keeps going, because today, former Chiefs running back, and hopefully he returns before training camp, maybe, Lord willing, Jerick McKinnon took to his Instagram stories and showed a clip of Travis Kelce on some sort of men's hair product in a store, and McKinnon's reaction to this was absolutely hilarious.
What the fuck? That boy official.
All right, jokes aside, another player who recently posted something on Instagram was Chiefs safety Bryan Cook, who jacked up his ankle very badly, to say the least, last year on a play against the Packers back on December 3rd and spent the remainder of the season on IR. From there, things about him were pretty quiet news-wise until he was shown in an episode of The Franchise cheering on his teammates during the AFC Championship game against the Ravens. And in that video, it was revealed he was wearing a walking boot on that ankle, which led some wondering if he got surgery on the ankle or not. Well, the x-ray he got after initially being injured was negative, so I have no idea what was potentially torn or damaged in there. You know, it was not a bone, obviously, but it could have been a ligament, a tendon. Don't know if it needed surgery or not, but dude, when your ankle turns over 180 degrees, that is freaking gnarly. That led me to question, how ready would Bryan Cook be, at least for early off-season stuff like OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, etc. But I think he put most of that doubt to rest when 2 days ago, he shared a video put together by Helm Visuals that showed Bryan Cook training his tail off and honestly looking great out there on that ankle. He's moving around fantastic with no noticeable limp or hesitation, and that leads me to believe he will definitely be good to go here sooner rather than later, which is great news. Bryan Cook is a pivotal anchor of the secondary after all, racking up 42 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries. Remember, he housed that Tyreek fumble in Germany last year, and he also snagged an interception. He was also one of the leaders back there, and it's going to be great adding him back to an already stacked safety room featuring Justin Reid, Chamari Connor, who I am very excited about for this season, Deion Bush, as well as the new 4th-round pick in Jaden Hicks, one of the steals of the draft, and another guy I am very excited about as well. And then, while we've had plenty of depressing news about the receiver room with Rice's car crash incident the day before Easter, as well as the new alleged nightclub assault incident earlier this week, check out this video here if you don't know what I'm talking about. Still waiting for more details, innocent until proven guilty, etc. But the Chiefs did add to the room yesterday in the midst of that news that kind of overshadowed it. And the signing is an intriguing one to say the least, with that being wide receiver Jaaron Hayek. He was actually one of the 36 plus undrafted players that got invited to Chiefs rookie minicamp for a tryout, and the Villanova wideout Jaaron Hayek impressed the team enough that he was one of the players signed to the 90-man roster after the conclusion of the rookie minicamp. And to make room for him, KC waived the very recently signed UDFA wide receiver Reggie Brown out of James Madison, so he was on the team for just a matter of days. Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report likes the addition of Hayek, sharing that he racked up 3,000 career receiving yards at Villanova, 30 touchdowns, can return punts and kicks, and his 1.52 10-yard split would have ranked 4th at the 2024 NFL Combine among all receivers, which is pretty freaking impressive. His overall relative athletic score is very good. It's well above average, 8.25, and while his 4.640 was subpar, again, his 10-yard split as well as his 20-yard split were fantastic. He's 6 foot tall, 199 pounds, and was utilized both inside and outside at Villanova, showing off a diverse route tree both from the slot and along the boundary. He's able to go up and get the ball, snatching it out of the air, and fights for yards after contact. NFL Draft Diamond's power statement about Jaaron is, quote, an undersized receiver with good but not great speed. Hayek could help an NFL team as a 3rd receiver, but is not going to be a game breaker on his own. Hayek could be an early day 3 prospect with a big 2023 season. And if you look at his 2023 season, he had 35 receptions for 457 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then he did some in the return game as well, having 4 punt returns for what that is worth. Then they noted that Hayek will most likely operate primarily out of the slot at the NFL level, and honestly, I'm intrigued to see how he does during OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, etc., because with the Rashee Rice suspension incoming, he did get used a lot out of the slot, and the Chiefs could be looking for somebody to help fill that role. The question is, can Jaaron crack the 53-man roster and fight for a spot as wide receiver 5 or 6 in the wide receiver room? It's going to be a tough one to crack, but I have the 5th and 6th position of wide receiver 5 and 6 still up for grabs, with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney being the most likely candidates, unless a veteran wideout is added or KC trades for someone like Titans wideout Treylon Burks, which has been a topic of discussion as of late among Chiefs Twitter. But with that being said, I think it's an uphill battle for Jaaron to make the 53-man roster, yet his flexibility as a guy who can play inside and outside as well as return punts and kicks was intriguing enough for the Chiefs to sign him to the roster after his tryout this weekend, so he's going to be one to keep an eye on as time goes on. And after all, as of right now at least, I do not have Tony and Sky as guaranteed locks, so you never really know what could happen there in the last spots in that room. But what do you make of the signing of Jaaron Hayek? Could he be a potentially underrated prospect in your eyes given his route tree and versatility, even though he went undrafted? I mean, UDFAs can still make an impact on the roster. See Byron Pringle. He went undrafted and contributed in the Chiefs offense for years. And also, what are your thoughts on the wide receiver room as a whole with the additional Rashee Rice incident that allegedly took place earlier this week? Is a veteran worth adding, or somebody like Treylon Burks worth trading for from Tennessee? Or are you more in line with my brother who texted me yesterday and said, even without Rice, if he's suspended, the wide receiver room has been upgraded from last year and is looking great with the additions of Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, and everything should be just fine. Let me know either way in the comments down below, and until next time, let's freaking go. How about those?